We all try to cook healthy, but when making a meal, a lot of times we top it off with a sauce. But something you should know, when reaching for a canned product, it may not be as healthy as you think. Today I'm with chef and author Kendra Peterson from Drizzle Kitchen, and she's gonna break down what we need to avoid when it comes to our sauces. Now, Kendra, I think the biggest culprits are salt, sugar, and preservatives in our sauces.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But there's a big difference between adding salt and sugar at home when you're cooking and when it's already packaged in a jar or a bottle. You don't need it. So when you make it yourself, you're really avoiding all of that. It tastes better and it's healthier. In most of these, you have about 8 grams of sugar per serving, which you'll see that little bowl that's right in front of you. That's what you're eating.
Not to mention the preservatives they put in to keep it shelf safe.
Right, exactly. And those are things that you wouldn't add if you're making it on your own.
Right, exactly. And the things that are added in here already, I would guess, would cause some major health concerns.
They can. Well, you know, with all the sugars in the food, you see a lot of obesity, you see a lot of diabetes. There can be headaches. You can be super tired, you know, if you get that afternoon slump. It's not it's because you're eating things that aren't sustaining your body.
You say make the sauces yourself. So let's start with one, which would be our salad dressings. We're reaching for these salad dressings for the shelf because they're easy.
Right.
But you say making it yourself is easy too.
The base of it is 3 parts of olive oil. This is a white balsamic vinegar that I like. I like to add garlic.
Okay.
It's super good for you.
So what's that?
Pinch of salt. This is some sea salt that I use. I like to use it for finishing.
It's so easy and so much better for you. There's another sauce that we all love. It's a staple in our diet, and that is marinara sauce, which is a tomato sauce. I thought tomatoes are good for you.
Tomatoes are good for you, but if we look at any of those jars, you'll see that there's a lot of junk. There's a lot of preservatives, additives to prevent the color from turning.
Kendra's recipe starts with tomatoes, followed by a carrot.
We're using for natural sweetness, so I'm just gonna pop that right in there.
Next up, an onion.
So you just cut that little nubbin off the very end, but it will still stay intact. It's kind of like the core.
Oh, that's why you're doing that.
And you just throw that whole thing in.
Okay.
And then I always add some dried oregano. You could add dried basil. You can add fresh basil if you want. But I wanted to show, like, these are all things that I have in my kitchen all the time.
Right, easy.
I like a big chunk of butter. That helps kind of cut any sort of acidity, without adding sugar.
So
and it's
the butter-
a nice grass-fed butter.
Finally, garlic and a pinch of salt.
Adding salt, like this is a pretty big 3-finger pinch. We're gonna put that in.
But that's
That
not
is
as much as you're gonna get.
nothing compared to what you would get in a sauce. And then we're just gonna cook this about 30, 45 minutes.
Well, this is off the stove. It looks amazing. I can't wait to try it.
Great.
So Kendra, I think the biggest takeaway for us is knowing that making our own sauces can be a simple change to make our diets a lot more healthier.
Absolutely. We overcomplicate cooking, and these are 2 ways to show you that it can be easy. And if you just have some basics under your belt, then you can use really fresh ingredients, very few ingredients, to make them taste better. You don't need to add the salt, the sugar, the preservatives, because you're making it with great stuff to begin with.
So simple, big change. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For Kendra's recipe and more healthy eating tips, head to our website, livinghealthytv.com. Okay, should we try these?
Yes, for
okay,
sure.
good. So I'm gonna dip this in here.
I could literally just dip kale into
I
this.
think I could too.
All day.
It's fresh and nice.
And the olive oil too.
Perfect.